Hello, guys, and welcome back to Inside the Daily Gist. We are back again like we never left. Welcome back. Yeah, well, guys, Nikki Haley, she is speaking after she lost the primary in South Carolina to Donald Trump. That was her home state, by the way. She got roughly almost 40%, and she is walking like she is taking that 40% to the bank. She is not letting go of. But this is what I'm gonna say. I think we are still gonna see Nikki Haley for a very long time. Why do I say that? I think Nikki gonna come back in 2028. That's what I'm thinking. I think she will be back in 2028 because she and her team they believe they've accepted that she's not gonna get the nomination to go against Joe Biden. But I think they try to gather the data for her to see who is voting for her, to see who is not voting for her, to get her prepared and ready for 2028 so she can have something to campaign on. We are going to see Nikki for a very long time. I don't think she's leaving anytime soon. She might end up kissing Donald Trump's ring, but as of now, as in right now, she ain't kissing it. But we are still gonna see her for a very long time. But she's saying something that I want us to go take a listen to, and she makes absolute sense. What do you guys think? Let's go listen to her and let's continue the conversation down in the comment section. As usual, please let's respect ourselves while we comment. Do y'all think Nikki Haley is dropping out soon and she's gonna endorse Donald Trump and she's gonna just forget about our, political career? Or do y'all think Nikki Haley, we are still gonna see her for a very long time, that she's coming back in 2028? And do y'all think she's trying to gather the data to see who is voting for her? So for her to have a strategy for 2028. I know I'm jumping like all the way to 2028. Calm down. But hey, we have to start thinking ahead now, right? Because these politicians, they're doing calculations. And I bet y'all, it's time for us to start doing it. Catch up with you guys later. Bye for now.
Have factions. You can't win a general election if you don't acknowledge the 40% of Republicans who are saying we don't want Donald Trump. And you can't do that if you've got a candidate who says anyone who supports his opponent is barred permanently from MAGA. That's not the way you win elections. Now, to my Republican family, I will say this. There are a few things we need to be looking at. The first thing is electability. If you have a candidate that can't win 40% of the vote in the early states, if you have a candidate who can't bring in independents, if you have a candidate that is driving people out of our party, then that is a sinking ship guaranteeing a President Kamala Harris. But it's not just the party that he's losing. He's shifting policy. Republicans used to be about fiscal responsibility. Republicans used to be about smaller government and less spending. But under Donald Trump, he put us $8 trillion out of the $34 trillion, $8 trillion in debt in just 4 years, more than any other president. He's not once talked about fiscal responsibility, and since what have we seen? Republicans and Democrats are now all spending like drunken sailors, and taxpayers are getting the short end of that stick. Then he's changed policy on national security. It used to be that Republicans cared about peace through strength. Now we don't see that anymore. Now we see Trump siding with Putin, a tyrant and a dictator who kills his political opponents, who arrests journalists and holds them hostage, and who continues to say that he wants to destroy America. And you've got Trump saying that he would encourage Putin to invade our allies. This isolationist approach that Donald Trump is putting over the party is creating a scenario that puts us further in war, not preventing war. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends. After 9/11, we needed a lot of friends. And then you're looking at the fact that Donald Trump is now turning the Republican Party into his own playpen. Look at what's happening at the RNC. The idea that they would be choosing a chair and a director before a primary is over is a massive control move by Donald Trump. The idea that there is a resolution out there in the RNC saying Donald Trump can't use the RNC for his legal slush fund, and he's upset that that was proposed, tells you everything you need to know. The idea that those now moving into the RNC are saying the RNC is only going to be about Donald Trump, you can hang up House, you can hang up Senate, and the rest of the ticket. It is now becoming, the Republican Party's now becoming Donald Trump's playpen. And what I will tell you is I had a woman last night in Troy. We had several hundred people there. And she came up to me and she said, I have been a lifelong Republican. She said, I have never voted other than Republican. And she said, and now my friends are telling me because I don't support Donald Trump, I'm a Democrat. If this is the direction the Republican Party's going into, this is going to lead this country towards socialism. The Democrats, I fully believe, are going to have a younger candidate going into the general election. Is the candidate. Republicans will once again lose the election. We'll lose the swing states, we'll lose the House, we'll lose the Senate, we won't take anything with us. Then I say to my American family, it is not normal for us to sit at the dinner table and have political decisions that destroy families. It is not normal to go to work and be scared about what you say because you're worried you're going to be fired. It is not normal for Joe Biden to call opponents fascists and Donald Trump to call opponents vermin. None of this is normal. And the focus needs to be on the younger generation, because all they feel is the anger, the hatred, and the division. They wonder how they're ever going to own a home, get a job, make ends meet, and if war's going to break out. Americans owe it to our kids and your grandkids that we start to get our country back to a unified place where we're all Americans. I am trying to do that. I am giving you every red flag I possibly can about the direction that the country is going in. Now I just need people to hear it. I need states that are voting to act on it. And I need to see that we can stop this sinking ship before it takes off.
Whether it is here in Michigan or any of the upcoming states you are campaigning in, today, which state can you tell us that you can definitively win?
We have 21 states and territories that are getting ready to happen. Why don't we wait and see what happens? We don't have to have a crystal ball and say this is going to happen or that's going to happen. We don't live in Russia. We don't anoint kings. We have elections. Let people vote.
But can you name a single state you can win?
I can name that 70% of Americans don't want Donald Trump or Joe Biden. That's a pretty big number. I can name that 40% of Republicans in all our early states don't want Donald Trump. That's a point that you need to talk about. Those things matter. 60% of Americans think Donald Trump and Joe Biden are too old. Talk about that. Instead of talking about what we think is going to happen, let's talk about what the American people have told us. That includes the Marquette poll that shows that Donald Trump can't beat Joe Biden and that I defeat Joe Biden by 18 points.
Going through your balcony report that you're going to host 10 top dollar fundraisers. That sounds like someone who's sticking it out beyond Super Tuesday. Can you say definitively now that you will be going and campaigning beyond Super Tuesday?
I can tell you that we raised $1 million in 24 hours after the election in South Carolina, that we are continuing to see the dollars come in because Americans want a voice, and we're giving them that voice. And as long as Americans want me to be that voice, I will continue to fight for them. As long as we think that there is an option, we're going to keep on doing it.
You said that Donald Trump is shutting the door on the voters who support you. If you're no longer an option in this race, do you think your voters will support Biden or sit out the 2024 general election altogether?
I think that if I'm not an alternative in this race, I think that Donald Trump will lose. It's that simple.
Speculation has mounted that you may
run as a third-party candidate. Have you spoken with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
I have not spoken with anyone about any